Well, there you go. You found 5 minutes at the Frat House here on December 6th with Frat House Mike and Sidekick. Hey, and we're getting into a full-blown Christmas season here. And you know, Sidekick, as we turn the calendar over to December, it always kind of signals to me the kind of the beginning of the end of the NFL season. You know, we're kind of moving into that playoff era.
Time for the Cowboys to implode.
Yes, I know how you love to break that up.
Time for Tony Romo to fall on his,
yeah. But here we are. We're in the home stretch of the NFL season. And in fact, already we've got 4 teams that have already clinched playoff appearances. And we're going to get into a lot of that kind of football talk in just a couple of moments. But as I just mentioned, Sidekick, it is December 6th. And do you know what today is? December 6th. It's not a day that lived in infamy. No, don't do that to me.
Yeah, that's tomorrow.
No, yeah, right. December 6th is St. Nick Day. Yes, it's the feast of St. Nicholas. And so in keeping with the Christmas season and the tradition and recognition of St. Nicholas and Santa Claus, I got to ask you, Sidekick, are you on the naughty list or are you on the nice list this year?
I'm always on the naughty list.
You're always on the naughty list.
Always on the naughty list.
Now, it's interesting because we kind of had this conversation a little bit on Sunday, right here. You and I did here at the Frat House, as we were doing all of our regular football viewing. And so what we thought we would do is we would kind of spin off a little bit of the conversation that Sidekick and I had on Sunday, but we do it with a bit of a Christmas flavor, a little bit of a Christmas spirit. Sure. We were talking about NFL teams the other day that we considered to be either kind of overrated or underrated based on where they are currently right now in the league and in the standings.
Yep.
And so in recognition of this being St. Nick Day, I thought maybe what we would do is we would kind of look at the overrated teams and we would kind of assign them, I guess if you wanted to call it that, we'd assign them to the nice list. And then contrary, for those that are kind of underrated, well, we would assign them to the naughty list. Right. And so what we're going to do is we're going to kick it off, Sidekick, with Santa's nice list. And so who would be your 2 overrated teams that you would head up, that would be heading up the nice list this year in the NFL?
Well, unfortunately, there's probably no big surprises here.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But my 2 teams would be the Atlanta Falcons and the Houston Texans. Mm-hmm. The Falcons, and before I get any hate mail, any hate tweets, any posts on the Facebook page, I'm not saying they don't deserve to be in the playoffs or where they're at.
Right.
But their records are better than I feel the teams are. You've got Atlanta, who really hasn't, I feel, faced any good teams.
I agree.
And a couple of their wins were very narrow point margins over teams that they should have blown out.
Yep.
So, I think they've amassed, one of the best records in the NFL. But I think their record speaks more than the team actually does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more on both of your choices. And so therefore, I think almost unanimously, the Frat House is probably putting the AFC Houston Texans at 11-1 and the NFC Atlanta Falcons at 11-1 on the nice list. Nice to their fan base. They certainly have been. And as Sidekick just pointed out, I'm not taking anything away from the Houston Texans. I mean, let's take a look at it. Matt Schaub is ranked 9th in QB. Arian Foster is ranked 5th in running backs. Andre Johnson is ranked 4th in wide receivers. J.J. Watt ranked 2nd in sacks defensively. You can't take anything away from the Houston Texans, but I ranked them there simply because I didn't expect the Houston Texans quite to have that kind of a record. I would have expected their spot to be currently being held by a team like, New England or say the Baltimore Ravens. Now, over on the other side, I couldn't agree with you more on the Atlanta Falcons, and in fact, I actually did a little bit of research on that one today. And when I went back and took a look at their 11 wins that they've had, only one of those wins has been against a winning team so far, and that's been the Denver Broncos, who they beat in Week 2. Matt Ryan, you can't take anything away from Matty Ice. I mean,
he's having a breakout year. I'm not trying to like we said, I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but they just haven't really.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a stiff enough competition for them.
Right.
To
warrant an 11-1 record, I guess might be the way you might want to phrase it. I mean, with a different type of a schedule, would the Atlanta Falcons have an 11-1 record? I'd like to go take a look and give them a different schedule and see whether, in fact, that would be the case. But, it is what it is, and everybody always comes back and says, well, on any given Sunday, and, NFL teams are NFL teams, and anybody can knock anybody off in any given week.
And these two teams are getting it done.
So there it is. But, hey, listen, I think both the Atlanta Falcons and the Houston Texans should be happy they're on the nice list. Yeah. Now, if we go over and take a look at Santa's underrated list, who's going to get a stocking full of coal on that one, Sidekick? Huh? Where do you have that one going?
Well, actually, and now this might be where I surprise some folks. For my underrated teams, I'm going with both of the rookie quarterbacks and their teams. I'm going with the Redskins, who are 6-6. When we started out the season, I don't think anybody predicted either of these teams to be at 500 or contending for the playoffs. Now, RG3 has been carrying more of the workload for the Redskins, but they're in the hunt for the NFC East. Who'd have thunk? And then on the other side, the Indianapolis Colts are 8-4. Now, their record is more of a team record. The defense and everybody else has been picking up the pieces along with luck. But those are my two teams that I think are underrated. The Colts are in the playoffs and the Skins could be in the playoffs.
Yeah, underrated from the standpoint of where they were expected to be at the beginning of the season, and that's exactly what we're talking about. All right, while Indianapolis has got right now a very good winning record, no one expected them to be there, as Sidekick just pointed out.
Right.
Now, from my perspective, I'm looking at it this way, and I'm going, hey, I kind of expected, and maybe I'm in the minority, but I expected the AFC Miami Dolphins, who are currently 5-7. I think they're underrated. I expected them to be a little further along than where they are, albeit you've seen a vastly improved defense there on the Miami side. You've got Cameron Wake over there, who's ranked 4th in sacks. Reggie Bush is having another steady year. Brian Hartline seems to be the guy that Tannehill absolutely wants to go to, and that's ranked him 12th in receiving.
And you got Tannehill's girlfriend. I mean, she's whoa, hey.
So that's got to count for something. That absolutely puts them on the naughty list, I would think, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
But although I did say the other day, and I want to point this out, I expect Miami to be one of the more improved teams going into the 2013 season next year. Now, on the other side, I'm going to throw your St. Louis Rams in there at 5-6-1. Also is an underrated team. I think there was a lot of expectation. I might be wrong. I'm not a St. Louis native, but I might be wrong. Jeff Fisher coming in, you would have thought that perhaps maybe they'd be a little bit better, and they have. They're a better team defensively, and I think this is another team that you can see vast improvement from in 2013 as Fisher begins to address some of the offensive issues. Sam Bradford is the biggest question mark in all of that, I think, and I think in some respects, Sam might put them right on the nasty list just by virtue of that. But that vastly improved defense right now is being led by James Laurinaitis, who is ranked 3rd in the entire league with 166 tackles. And Steven Jackson has had a very good year.
Yes.
He's
currently healthy.
Yeah, he's currently ahead of LaShawn McCoy, who is considered to be one of the 5 best running backs. Now, I understand McCoy's missed a game or so, but listed as one of the 5 best backs in all of the league. So the St. Louis Rams I put up there as a team that I think is on the naughty list because I kind of expected more from them. I'm sure you did as well.
Well, see, when it comes to my Rams, I always am a realist about their performance, and I knew it wasn't going to be. We were going to go, what we did last season, and then all of a sudden magically turn around and we're going to be in the playoffs and. Right. We're going to win the going to win the West.
I don't think anybody expected that, right?
But here we are, contenders for the playoffs, which I find, good news.
Yes.
Defense has shown up. Jackson stayed healthy, so I'm happy with where we're at this season.
All right.
But next season, I do expect more out of them.
And so they better get their act together, otherwise they're going to be on the naughty list again next year at this time. There's our holiday special for this week. Before we jump into our 4 games, let's go over and take a look at the Facebook post of the week. And my bad, I went and posted up the Bob Costas minute and 30 commentary from halftime of last Sunday's Sunday Night Football game, where Bob decided to go on a little bit of a editorial, I suppose, as one would say it, regarding
Would you say that he copied the Frat House rant segment, perhaps?
I would love to say he would have done something like that, although that might get me in hot water as well. I'm not sure. But anyhow, he had a few comments to make about the situation that occurred with Javon Belcher the day before, the Kansas City Chief, who unfortunately went out and killed his girlfriend before then taking his own life there at the training facility of the Kansas City Chiefs. And, Bob, in his inimitable way, decided to use a minute and 30 of halftime on Sunday night to kind of do a bit of an editorial on it. And I posted that editorial, and it got quite a bit of fire coming back to me from some of our Facebook friends. And it went on for a little while. I personally had no issue with Costas' comments. I'm going to be honest with you, and that's exactly how I stated it, and that's what created the furor. But many of our followers apparently did have an issue with it. I know how you had a... I'm going to let you go ahead. You can.
Costas could keep his comments to himself.
You're right. Okay. And there you have it.
That wasn't the place.
And this is it. Here's
I got a baseball!
And here's the deal, folks. This is the way we roll here at the Frat House. Can I tell you right now? We don't care whether you agree or disagree with us. It's A-OK.
Yep.
Sidekick's going to disagree with me. Mark's going to disagree with me. There's going to be a bunch of Facebook people out there that are going to disagree with me. And it's all right. That's exactly what we're all about. Keep those comments coming. That's the kind of thing we like. That's what keeps us fresh and keeps us going and keeps us enthused to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Hey, if you disagree
There's nothing wrong with the healthy debate.
Right. We're not going to get
anything.
We don't get nasty. We don't get vitriolic. It's all fine. Everybody's got their own opinions, and that's fine. And since we're talking about opinions, let's go take a look at how we're going to fare this week. And I know I got some catching up to do with you, and only a few weeks to do it. Let's see how we do this week, opinionated-wise, over our picks. 4 games that we're going to take a look at this week, coming to you from the Frat House. We got the Baltimore Ravens, who are 9-3, at the Washington Redskins, who are 6-6, and that's a 1:00 game on Sunday. This is an interesting matchup to me, Sidekick. One perhaps that many would look at on paper and say, come on, this is a no-brainer. But with the NFC East up for grabs, as it has been, and, the game's going to be at Washington, in my opinion, this one might be a bit closer than one might initially think. The Ravens are coming off that surprising loss to a Charlie Batch-led Pittsburgh Steelers team last week, 23-20.
Yeah, what happened there?
Well, I'll tell you what happened there. It's, in my opinion, it's Joe Flacco, okay? He provided for us why exactly he's ranked 19th in QB in the league, as he proved to be strictly mediocre. I didn't say fraud. 16 of 34.
You just did drink.
He was 16 of 34, 188 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, a 61.9 QB rating. Ray Rice had 12 carries, 78 yards, and 1 TD. Anquan Bolden had 5 receptions, 81 yards, and another touchdown. The Ravens, in my opinion, look strictly pedestrian. Now, the Redskins are coming off a very close 17-16 victory on Monday against the New York Giants. RG3 was 13 of 21, 163 yards, and 1 TD. The big TD, however, was the one that won the game to Pierre Garçon in the fourth quarter. The Redskins are a bit of a surprising, to me, 2.5-point favorite over the Ravens, Seems to me that the odds makers are liking RG3 a bit more than Joe Flacco. How about you?
Well, I'm going to pull a Harbaugh here, and I'm going to ride with the hot hand, and I'm going to go with the Skins.
Mm-hmm. You're going to go with the Skins. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
The Redskins, I'm sorry.
Now, I said it was a surprising 2.5-point margin because I kind of thought that the Redskins, based on these stats that we've seen here, would be a slightly larger favorite. I think the line is speaking to me and saying, go Ravens. And that's where I'm going. Let's go over and take a look at our second matchup. There's one difference right there. I like that.
There's one difference.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's go take a look at the Chicago Bears, who are 8-4, who are going to be at the Minnesota Vikings, who are 6-6. That's a 1 o'clock game as well on Sunday. And well, I guess you'd have to place the Seattle Seahawks on the most improved list this season, Sidekick, as the Bears surprisingly lost to them last week, 23-17, and that was with Jay Cutler going 17 of 26 for 233 yards, 2 TDs, 0 interceptions, and 119.6 QB rating. And when you look down the box score of this entire game between the Bears and the Seahawks, I came away scratching my head. How in the world did they lose? Matt Forte had 96 all-purpose yards and a touchdown. Brandon Marshall with 165 yards on 10 receptions. But somehow or another, they found a way to do it. Now, over on the other side, I described the Minnesota Vikings just yesterday on Fan Junkies Radio as probably one of the most schizophrenic teams in the entire league. Last week, not surprisingly, they lost to Green Bay. 23-14. Christian Ponder must have been thinking more about his engagement than the pack. He went 12 of 25, 119 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 41.9 QB rating. I'm going to tell you something right now. If I were 6-year veteran Adrian Peterson, I would have been in Ponder's grill. I got to tell you right now. How about these numbers for Peterson? 21 carries, 210 yards, and a touchdown. I would have been in his grill, seriously. This looks like
we know where the weak link is on that team.
Well,
I mean, it's
Okay, you're killing me with this.
Listen, this looks like a mismatch on paper, all right? But the Bears are only a 3-point favorite. Really? Help me out here.
Last week, who'd have thunk? I mean, Seattle got a road win.
Mm-hmm.
That's like their first or second road win of the season.
Don't discount Seattle. I think they're, Wilson's a pretty darn good quarterback as a rookie, and their defense isn't bad.
Just saying, they
All right.
not good on the road.
Yeah.
And, I thought they weren't going to win.
Yeah.
So, oh well. We both picked it, so
Yeah, I know.
it's not that bad.
Exactly.
Anyway, so back at game at hand, Bears-Vikings. I'm going with the Bears.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it. 3 points. 3 points, and that was your bomb diggity bomb.
And it is my bomb diggity bomb.
3 points on this. I would have expected it to be a little bit higher. I'm going with the Bears, all right? All right.
It's the bomb, the Bears.
Let's go.
Quiet, numbskulls, on broadcast.
Yeah, really. I'm sorry. Let's go take a look at the third game for tonight. And that's the Dallas Cowboys, who are 6-6, at the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 7-5, and that's a 1 o'clock game on Sunday. And wow, where did this Tony Romo come from last week? Let me caveat that. Of course, it was against the Eagles' defense. Romo was 22 of 27, 303 yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions, 105.5 QB rating. I think he might have just been the best performing quarterback in the entire league last weekend. Murray had an impact on the ground. We've been talking about the fact that the Cowboys have not had a ground game. All of a sudden, he comes back. They've got an impact on the ground, as he went 83 yards and a touchdown. Witten and Bryant had over 200 yards in the air and 2 touchdowns. Now, I've talked a lot about the fact that this East is up for grabs. All right. Mm-hmm. And here we go. We're gonna go take a look at the Bengals.
It is above. It is for 3 teams.
Well, yeah. Well, don't even talk to me about the other team. The Bengals last week beat a hapless Chargers group. They beat them 20-13. Andy Dalton here, our ginger giant. Well, he was okay. 25 of 39 for 211 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, a 65.2 QB rating. Listen, the game last week was the law firm. Ben Jarvis Green Ellis had a big day on the ground, 118 yards. Dalton did spread it around. I'll give him credit. He spread it around to 6 different receivers. Cincinnati is favored by 3. Sidekick. Upset or no upset here?
It's December. I'm going with the Ginger Giant.
Oh.
It's my quarterback.
This is an East that's up for grabs. I'm going with Dallas.
Ooh.
All right? There's too much pressure coming down here. The Giants aren't... yeah, I know we've seen it before. The Giants are not playing up to par. We saw that last year as well. I know. However, you've got pressure being applied by RG3 and the Washington Redskins. Dallas is going to want to keep pace. Look for Dallas to win this one.
That's a violation.
Sorry. Last but not least, Detroit Lions 4-8 at the Green Bay Packers, who are 8-4. This is the Sunday night game, 8:30. Now I'm gonna put you on notice. Barring the outcome here, I for one now am lobbying that the Lions are now banned from our lineup. All right, that's barring the outcome for the remainder of the season. If they lose this weekend, that's it. Okay. Now they lost last weekend. But, and I'll give it to him, it was a close one against the surging and maturing Andrew Luck, who led the Indianapolis Colts to a 35-33 victory over the Lions. In fact, it took a 14-yard pass and a game-winning TD to Donnie Avery with 0 on the clock to prevent this game from going to overtime last Sunday. In fact, at one point, though, the Lions actually had a 33-21 lead with just a bit over 7 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. And that goes to show you that the Colts, as you pointed out earlier, are a team that's on the upswing. Stafford.
So would you say that the Lions' luck ran out?
Yeah, I would say that. There you go. The Lions. Listen, Stafford's been frustrating this entire season. He's currently ranked as the 23rd quarterback in the league. This past week, he was 27 of 46. 313 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. All right, let's go take a look at the Green Bay Packers. Now, there's been a lot of talk this year about the fact that they just haven't looked as dominant as they have in seasons past. But wait.
Well, they got off to a slow start.
Okay, wait. Have we checked the recent QB standings? Because who's number 1 right now in the QB standings? Hey, how about Aaron Rodgers? Currently ranked as the number 1 quarterback in the league.
Rest my case.
29 touchdowns and only 8 interceptions, rather quietly, has done that. Last week, Rodgers led the team to a 23-14 victory over the Vikings, and we discussed that one earlier. Rodgers was 27-35 for 286 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Regardless of Rodgers, in my opinion, this team just has way too many weapons. Name them. Jason Starks, Alex Green, Randall Cobb, Jermichael Finley, James Jones. You can go on. All right? Packers are favored by 7 over the Lions. Next week, do we put the Lions permanently on the naughty list?
I guess. I mean, the Lions haven't done anything this year. Really, they don't really fit on either list.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they are, under exceeding. Mm-hmm. But that's, the Lions are the Lions. I mean, it's same old thing.
Who do we have in this game?
So, I'm going to go with the Pack. The Pack is,
I think,
they, like I said, they got off to their slow start.
Yeah.
But, they've turned it around and they're ramping up right as playoff time comes.
Yeah. I think you have to I think you have to go with the Pack on this one. Come on. This is kind of a no-brainer, and
it's a discount double check.
We will we'll talk about the Lions again maybe next September. How about that? Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
I ain't even talk about them then.
Hey, those are our games, NFL games for this week. Let's wrap it up with a few reminders here. There's our buddy Jonathan over there at fanjunkies.net. Got to get over there. Social networking, a lot of fun. We're coming into the holiday season, and we're coming into playoff season, so this is the time to be jumping over there and joining up with that. A lot like the old Facebook. We've brought it up so many times. Get over there. It's free, folks. It's free. All right?
Yep. And ask them how the Jets are doing.
Do that. Yes. I think that'll get you a friend right like that. Right like that, you're going to get a friend. All right? Also, listen, Fan Junkies Radio, boy, oh boy, are we exploding at this point. It's been nuts. Jonathan and I are on Fan Junkies Radio on Blog Talk Radio every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time over on Blog Talk Radio, Fan Junkies Radio. We just had a show yesterday with Russ Cohen, who is a sports and NHL author. He's written numerous books. He has a brand new book out right now called The Winter Classic. All right, now we're not having one, unfortunately, this year, which I talked to him a lot about on Monday. That show is still going. It has gotten over 37,000 listens.
Wow.
Just that one show. And the past couple of shows have just exploded. Right now, I mean, there's been something ridiculous, like close to 150,000 listens of all of the radio shows. So you got to get over there and check that out as well. And last but not least, our newest venture. Yes, I'm going to get our newest venture, FratHouseSports.net. I've got new content coming up there all the time. We got new content coming up there tomorrow. We're going to have new content on Saturday. We'll have new content over the weekend.
Yep.
And you got one.
I do. We're syndicated, Mike.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
5 minutes at the Frat House.
Yep. We have been picked up by Herb FM Sports Radio.
Yes.
At herbfm.com on Friday nights at 7.
Well, this week it'll be 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock this week.
Yes.
Where they will be rebroadcasting our shows on the radio.
And they've been doing it now for a couple of weeks, and we want to thank our friends over there at Herb FM. Chris Heidel and his buddies over there. We are truly, truly appreciative. Unfortunately, Chris, I apologize. I forgot to get a slide up there. But it's herbfm.com. Do I have the right?
Yep, herbfm.com.
Okay. And they go by Herb FM Sports. All right? They broadcast a lot of live stuff. They broadcast all kinds of LFL stuff. And as we just pointed out, they've been rebroadcasting 5 Minutes of Frat House for about 2 or 3 weeks now.
Yep.
And they'll be broadcasting us again tomorrow night, Friday, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
So head on over to herbfm.com.
There you go.
Oh, nightmare.
I appreciate that. That's terrific stuff. Thanks so much, Chris. Alrighty. There you go. That's it for this week.
That's it.
That's it. But there's one more thing. Is there?
What?
Do you have any more?
No.
Oh, okay. But I've got one more. Hey, you know what you gotta do. You gotta keep us real. You gotta keep us live. You gotta keep us going. Hey, we'll see you next week.
Hey Cam, thanks a lot for coming to my school today.
No problem, Nate.
I promise to exercise and eat right.
Don't forget 60 minutes of play a day, right?
And I'll grow up to be big and strong like you.
Absolutely.
And play in the NFL.
Yes, sir.
And be drafted #1.
Maybe.
And become the starting quarterback of the Panthers.
Okay.
You can be my backup.
Excuse me?
And make Panthers fans forget about you.
What?
And become your mom's favorite player.
Whoa.
I'm just loosening my arm.